Were these designs stolen from an extraterrestrial craft?
In the case of the UFO model, we've made every effort to make it accurate.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. The wide open spaces of Nevada are the perfect testing ground for the U.S. military's top secret weapon systems and aircraft. So it's not unexpected that people who live there often report seeing unidentified flying objects. But the UFOs that have been sighted most recently are unique.
You could see that it was definitely a spheroid-shaped object and that it was surrounded by this very energetic field that would lag behind the maneuvers that it would make.
We stopped on this ridge, and my partner looked at me. His eyes were as big as fish bowls, and he motioned for me to look back over our shoulders to the east. I can't say for sure what we saw was of this earth.
Area 51, Dreamland, Groom Lake. This UFO-rich area has many names, unless you talk to the military. Despite high-level leaks about top-secret aircraft testing here, with codenames like Aurora and Black Manta, the Pentagon continues to issue their standard denials, even to Congress.
Every time that there's a story about Aurora or the TR-3A Black Manta in Popular Science or the New York Times or something else, Congress calls the Pentagon on the carpet and says, what's the deal? They want to know if these planes exist. And every time they've asked about those planes, they've been told there is no such thing.
The military's established a pattern of denial concerning these highly capricious wild aircraft beginning in the late 50s and continuing to this day.
The pattern of denial started with the U-2. In the 50s, sightings of strange cigar-shaped craft were followed by leaks about a new spy plane, codenamed U-2. The military denied the existence of any such plane, until Francis Gary Powers was shot down over Russia in a U-2. The pattern continued in the 1960s with the SR-71 Blackbird, in the 70s and 80s with the stealth fighter and the stealth bomber. And now, in the 90s, it's happening again. There are new sightings of disc-shaped craft, new leaks suggesting the discovery of an anti-gravity device, and the same old denials.
There's a certain conceit, I think, among journalists that, well, if it's real, if it's true, we can get it, because Washington, the government, the Pentagon, they all leak like a sieve. Well, that may be the attitude in journalism, but if you ask military folks, they will tell you secrets can be kept. Secrets are kept.
Many believe the secrets are kept here, at this supposedly non-existent Nevada military base. Rumors suggest that anti-gravity technology being used here was actually recovered from an alien spacecraft.
I think there's a strong possibility that we have recovered some sort of alien technology and are trying to incorporate that into military programs.
In an attempt to penetrate the security net around Area 51, investigators Michael DiGregorio and Roger Johnson pedaled a backcountry route. Suddenly, a series of red-orange objects flared out across the sky.
They started at great height, seemed to descend, and then flared out. It was startling. Then a series of silver pewter flashes went directly across the horizon at terrific speed. One of these silver flashes went directly up into the air. The bottom one seemed nearly to hug the ground.
Did DiGregorio and Johnson witness the super-secret testing of a new kind of aircraft? In fact, someone did think they saw too much. As they returned to base camp, they were detained by a security patrol that seemed to be protecting more than just a stretch of arid landscape.
Boom. Headlights come on, there was an M16 pointed at us, and here we were faced with a life and death situation. But we also knew that we had crossed the line back into public domain, and therefore we were safe.
3 months later, in the same area, independent investigator Mark Farmer saw the same orange-red UFOs. He had a camera and captured these images on film. As an aviation expert, Farmer was stunned.
I saw the object exhibit entirely unconventional flight characteristics. At times, it would wobble around in the sky and appear very unstable. At other times, it would be in a rock-hard hover. It was an O-bladed sphere, multicolored, crimson on bottom, blue-green on top, much brighter than anything else in the sky.
Is this photographic evidence of the military's latest experimental aircraft? The answer isn't likely to come from the Pentagon.
Let me put it this way. I don't think the military has any credibility with the public in terms of its denials of this program or that program. They've denied the U-2 existed. They denied the SR-71 existed. They denied working on stealth. All of those programs suddenly were unveiled.
The only information at this point comes from leaks within the government structure. Bob Lazar, an aerospace engineer formerly assigned to Area 51, claims the government possesses at least 9 disc-shaped alien craft currently warehoused in Nevada.
I was part of a back engineering group, and our job was basically to look at these recovered discs, and I say recovered because I don't know really where they came from, whether they were given to us, we found them, shot them down, who knows what. But our group basically was to back engineer them, which means to start with a finished product and go backward and see how it was fabricated, and try and duplicate some of that technology with earthly materials.
To me, Bob Lazar is credible. Over the past couple of years, I've spoken to literally dozens of people who have worked at that facility out there in Nevada. I think the technology at Area 51 originally came from somewhere else.
They were looking at something that, as far as Bob is concerned, didn't come from this planet, and they were trying to figure out how it worked.
John Andrews is also considered a reliable source for information about government projects. He has an amazing track record for revealing aircraft projects before their official unveiling. He's not a military officer, nor an aerospace engineer. He's a product designer for a toy company called Testor, and he can't keep a secret.
Secrecy is used oftentimes to hide the details of the funding and the size of the program. More often than not, it doesn't hide a real, true technological secret.
The Pentagon was not amused when Testor released a replica of the F-117A stealth fighter before it was officially known to the public. The recent release of their Project Aurora model is also making waves. Why is a toy company the public's best source for information about military projects?
They have sources throughout the military. They have sources in companies like Lockheed and Northrop, and they get bits and pieces of information from here and put it all together.
With such a remarkable track record, what's next on the Testor drawing board? John Andrews says it will be this, a UFO replica called the Sport Model.
In the case of the UFO model, we've made every effort to make it correct and to make it accurate. We've made every effort to find out the best information on the subject. We went to people who said that they have worked on the craft.
Could the Sport Model really be the next step forward in military aircraft design? Testor says yes, and the experts are listening.
The Testor Corporation has been very lucky in terms of building models that suddenly become real planes, but it's not luck. Now they're telling us that they believe that flying saucers at Area 51 are a real possibility.
This model may be the very, very first authentic plastic scale model kit of something that was designed and built and flown from another planetary system. I cannot say that that is absolutely certain, but there is that possibility.